KHNL. This is your source for breaking news. Hawaii News Now at 5.
First at 5, complaints of commercial activity at a protected bay in East Oahu. A ban is in place for businesses at Mauna Lua Bay on Sundays, but our cameras saw some scuba tours and parasail operations who appeared to ignore the law. Rick Daysog takes a look at the problem.
This boat is ferrying passengers to larger scuba diving boats in Mauna Lua Bay this afternoon. It's an apparent violation of a state law banning commercial activities in the bay on Sundays and on state and federal holidays. Just a couple of hundred yards away, tourists parasail over the bay, yet another apparent illegal commercial operation. Environmental watchdogs say the problem is rampant in the bay.
This is commercial activity that has gone amok and continues to be amok and unchecked.
Businesses like scuba diving tours, parasailing, and jet ski rentals are allowed in Mauna Lua Bay on weekdays except holidays. But those activities are banned on Sundays to make the bay safe for recreational users and to avoid potential collisions and close calls.
You got stand-up paddlers, kayakers from the public sector that are having to be worried about fast-moving boats, jet skis, and the likes.
Hawaii Kai residents tell us that for years they've been complaining about illegal commercial activities in the bay, but they say that their complaints have largely fallen on deaf ears.
For years, I filed complaints, the public have filed complaints, and yet nothing is done. It's hands-off, laissez-faire.
Sources say illegal commercial operators are rarely fined. The state land board had no immediate comment. Rick Daysog, Hawaii News Now.
A large water main break is affecting the heart of Waikiki. The Board of Water Supply says a 16-inch water main ruptured on Kuhio Avenue. Right now, the Ritz-Carlton Residences is without water, along with the La Casa Apartments and the King Kalakaua Plaza. The pipe burst at around 9:30 this morning, shutting down the westbound direction near Kalaimoku Street. Traffic is being rerouted to Olohana Street. It's unknown how long the water will be off. On the Big Island, firefighters say they suspended the search for a missing swimmer who's been missing for 2 days. According to reports, the person went into the water offshore Kailua Bay Friday. The missing swimmer has not been identified. Here on Oahu, a tip led state officers to an illegal lane net and a 16-foot boat off Kaneohe Bay just after 10:30 this morning. DLNR says the net was about 1,000 feet long. They found several dead hammerhead sharks in it. Both the net and the boat were recovered as evidence. Anyone with information on the owner of the net or the boat is asked to call the DLNR's enforcement tip line at 643-DLNR. That's 643-3567. And to weather now, a live look outside at Waikiki. You can see some swell energy coming from the South Shores. Plus, some parts of the state are getting a cool down. Let's go get the details now from Ben Gutierrez. Hey, Ben.
Hey, thanks very much, Ash. We've got a weakening cold front nearing Kauai, and while it's not a major rainmaker, it is bringing in some cooler air. Check out the temperatures right now in Lihue. It's already down to 73 degrees, 75 in Wahiawa. Most other areas are in the low to mid 80s. Winds behind the front are light, but the flow is from the north to northeasterly direction. Now the front itself is dissipating and it hasn't brought a lot in the way of direct showers. Kauai is seeing more clouds thanks to the frontal boundary, but rainfall is light. The light winds elsewhere are causing some pop-up showers for some areas including central and leeward Oahu this afternoon. Maui County also seeing quite a few of those showers, including for central Lanai and also the leeward slopes of Haleakala. We're right around the upcountry areas around Ulupalakua as well as Makena getting a few showers. The Big Island this afternoon has been pretty quiet. I'll tell you when we can expect the trade winds returning in a few minutes.
Thank you, Ben. The man accused of killing his tenant in a Kahaluu shipping container pleaded no contest to a lesser charge. Samuel Campiformio is accused of stabbing Kenneth Ratzloff to death last year. As part of the deal, he pleaded no contest to manslaughter instead of murder, which would have carried a life sentence. He faces a maximum of 20 years in prison as part of the agreement. Sentencing is set for December 4th. A man who was struck by a car in Kalihi last month died this weekend. Detectives said the man was crossing in a marked crosswalk on Likelike Highway when the driver, who had the right-of-way, struck him. He was hospitalized at Queens where he died. He has not been identified. Tonight, a vigil in Kansas City marked the latest mass shooting in the U.S. 9 people were shot in a bar early this morning. 4 of them died. Now tonight, police in Kansas City, Kansas are on the hunt for 2 men. Jonathan Vigliotti reports.
Chaos erupted inside the Tequila KC bar around 1:30 this morning. Police say at least 40 people were packed inside when the gunman entered through the back and started shooting.
When we arrived, obviously a lot of people were still inside the bar trying to exit, running out. Outside the bar, we had 5 other victims that all sustained gunshot wounds.
The victims were all Hispanic men between the ages of 25 and 50. Police say the exact motive is unclear, but they're not investigating it as a hate crime. Witnesses say the 2 suspects had gotten into a fight at the bar earlier in the night, left, and returned with handguns.
We have too many conflicting stories right now, so we want to try to narrow that down.
Surveillance video from inside the bar will play a critical role in filling in the gaps, along with accounts from the victims who survived. Several have been treated and released from the hospital. Jonathan Vigliotti, CBS News.
Now to a mystery in Dallas, Texas. A witness in a high-profile trial of a former police officer was shot and killed.
We can take a moment, Joshua. This is fine. We're not in a rush, okay?
Yeah, we need a moment.
That was Joshua Brown just over a week ago testifying against former police officer Amber Geiger. Geiger shot her neighbor Botham Jean after mistakenly walking into the wrong apartment. Police say they found Joshua Brown with multiple gunshot wounds at his apartment Friday night. Dallas police are searching for a suspect in the attack. Witnesses did report seeing a silver sedan speed away from the apartment complex. Now back here at home, at the direction of President Trump, flags will fly at half-staff at the state capitol, state offices, and the Hawaii National Guard to honor the firefighters and first responders who died in the line of duty to protect our nation's communities. This is taking place during Fire Prevention Week, when Americans are called on to renew their efforts to prevent fires and their tragic consequences. There's less than an hour to visit the Pearl City Foodland. The grocer is closing the location for good after 60 years. Foodland plans to open a new Foodland Farms down the road at the old Babies R Us. The company is looking to hire more workers for the new location. We've posted details on our website. Now coming up, Hawaiian Airlines employees head overseas to clean coastlines in Japan. Plus, cameras were rolling when a Texas man was struck by lightning. But first, Hanauma Bay is rescheduled to open tomorrow after being closed for a week. Crews were repaving the road leading to the popular beach. And a heads up for residents in North Kona, the Department of Water Supply will be conducting a fire hydrant flow test along Honokohau Street and Kamanu Street between 10:30 p.m. and 11:30 p.m. tomorrow. The affected area may experience slightly discolored and turbid water for several hours after the test. Customers are being asked to refrain from washing clothes and to store a container of drinking water until the supply is back to normal.
See something you want to share with Hawaii News Now? Post it on social media using the hashtag HNN. Follow us.